Hey, how's everybody doing? Okay, Taylor Javox is painting her boobs again. Looks kind of nice. It's kind of she's got a really nice mural to paint on. All I can see is Mira's foot. It looks good though. Oh, Bob Ross is in the house painting. Um, Berticus is looking good. I don't know what she's doing. She's got I don't know if it's her or somebody else, but somebody's outside. Fire Dancer, all I'm seeing is an empty bed. 500 people looking at an empty bed. Um, ooh, Serene Wild's looking really good. Chicken Wing is looking really good. She got a cute outfit on. I can't pronounce her name. She's looking good though. And then Sagittariana official is it's an empty beach, but there's only 34 people watching that. Apparently, and I would say if I was gonna watch one or the other, I'd probably watch the empty beach. The bed is just there's nothing going on. There was a comedian. I was watching it. My one buddy, he goes, "Oh yeah," he goes, I didn't know, because I occasionally watched Bob Ross as a kid. I occasionally watched him, and this comedian was talking about Bob Ross. I think this might have been after he died, so the poor guy couldn't defend himself. And and he was talking about when he was watching it as a kid, and Bob Ross would have like a Vietnam flashback. Apparently, the guy had PTSD, and I'm like, no way. And my buddy goes, oh yeah. He goes, I used to watch him a lot, and he goes, it would occasionally happen. And this comedian, this chubby little douchebag. I don't like the fact that because it's like I don't know. I'm thinking you could have found something better. I'm not really mad at him. I guess he had every right, but I'm thinking if you got a veteran who's got PTSD, if you got some legitimate criticism, and I will go off on Chris Kyle in a heartbeat, but if you got some legitimate criticism, that's fine. But if you're going to make fun of them because they came back damaged serving us, to me that just seems wrong. I mean, it just seems wrong. And but he was sitting there going, he goes, well, yeah, used to watch Bob Ross, and every now and then, he'd be sitting there and be like, yeah, we're gonna paint the forest, all the happy little trees. And he goes, the trees kind of remind me of the jungle. He goes, I was in the jungle. I went to Vietnam. And he goes, and yeah, he goes, yeah, and then Charlie was in the jungle. And then we'd go in there with Agent Orange. And he starts painting on, he's talking about painting on, or Agent Orange and Napalm Red. And he was just, I'm just like, oh my God. But and I go to him and he goes, well, he goes, it wasn't that bad, but he goes, every now and then he'd start having flashbacks while he was painting, and I'm like, that's just wrong picking on the guy like that. Now, and I will sit there and I will like defend him a little bit on this, but now if he went around getting people thrown in jail for trying to treat PTSD by taking them to a gun range, I would say that I would honestly say, hey, if Bob Ross did that, I don't care what he did in the military, that was fucking stupid. And if he came back and started lying to people so he could sell books and sell movies, and if he started lying about other veterans that he didn't like to make himself look better, like he did to Jesse Ventura, I'd call him out on that. But Bob Ross was not a Chris Kyle. He was a decent human being when he got back here. Okay, and I might do another one later, but I would like to get a Bad Omen, and I would like to get one round of Raid. I want to get some pumpkins too. Oh, I honestly can't remember. I think I usually, like, the days my brother's gone, those are usually the days I clean the litter box. And I think I forgot Thursday. I may have emptied the litter on Thursday. I don't know. But Friday, there was like a buffet of turds in the litter box. I'm thinking I might have forgot, but the cats might have just had a pooping party after that's happened before. It doesn't happen all the time, but it has happened before. Come on, I need a banner. I need a banner. I think there was a band back in the 80s or 90s or something. Someone in the Bannermen or something like that. Either it was a group that and it might have been one of those one-hit wonder groups, or for me a one-hit wonder, because there's a lot of those groups. I only liked a couple songs, and I nothing against them, but there were one or two other songs that I really liked, and the rest of them I just didn't have a lot of use for. And like, I had a buddy, he really liked The Cure. And I always had to basically act like I didn't like them, because I liked Friday I'm in Love, and there was one other song they did that I liked back then. But see, if I would have admitted I even liked one of their songs, I would have been listening to like everything they ever fucking made. Every cover, there was a third song of theirs. I'm a little more I'm a little more willing to listen to their stuff now, but there's another one they did. It was a cover they did of, and I cannot remember the name of it. It's a cover they did for I think it's The Crow. It's a cover of theirs they did of, God, I think it's Jimi Hendrix. I'm not sure. But it's a song they did. I believe it was for the first Crow soundtrack, and I want to say it was called Burn. And if that was a cover, I can tell you, even if I can't remember the group, I know it. This sticks in my mind. I massively liked their version of it better than the original, and I did not think the original was bad. And then, oh God, it's on YouTube. Somebody, I don't think this was anything they officially did. Somebody took a Cure song and a Depeche Mode song, and they kind of blended them. And God, I'm trying to think. God, it's Depeche Mode. Gonna take my time. I got all the time in the world to make you mine. And they took that one and they blended it with a Cure song. And they mixed the two videos, and they did a really good. That one there, I don't know if I really would like the Cure song stand alone. I do like the Depeche Mode song stand alone. But when they mixed those together, oh my God, I actually really liked it. I haven't watched it in a while, but when I first found that, uh, at least a couple times a month I was listening. I listened to it a couple times a day for the first week or two. I really liked that mix they did. But I don't want to, because I really don't want this to be about politics. Thing is, though, I don't consider shit like this politics. I don't think it's politics to try and overthrow the government. I don't think it's politics to try and steal an election. I don't care if you're five Supreme Court justices that do it in 2000, or somebody that does it with Russia's help, and a fucking, a fucking either corrupt or idiotic FBI director. I don't really care which. I think it's wrong. And MSNBC was reporting. I saw this when I was getting my lunch ready. It finally happened. It was just a matter of time. And I am sorry. I think on some level you have to blame the FBI director, and you have to blame the Attorney General. because if they could go after truckers for parking and trying to screw up traffic and everything else, they should have been able to go after these governors and law enforcement people in Texas and Florida that were picking up illegal aliens. And I'm going to use that term, and it's a long story, but illegal aliens, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, you need to learn how the codes and everything are. If and I'm just being honest. If you don't like it, you got to change the codes. You got to change the Constitution, because it, to me, this is like, if, like, right now, you can be upset if people are, when people reference, like, if they still said black people were fifths of a person. You can be upset about that. You absolutely can. But see, if the Constitution had not been amended to give them equal rights, if the Constitution had not been amended to give them the right to vote, if the Constitution still honored the language that said they're 3/5 of a person, like, basically what it says is you will count every free person and 3/5 of everybody else. So that they're basically saying free people are whole and others that aren't free are 3/5 of a person. Well, that's no longer the case. Well, in the language, you can be a natural born citizen. That's what I am. Now, I had a friend who I met in third grade. He came here from Mexico. He is what they referred to as a naturalized citizen. He had, when we were in high school, he still had his green card in his parents' safe and all this other stuff. But he became a naturalized citizen. So we were citizens. It's just, which verb or which language is going to be used, whether you're natural born or naturalized. If you are not a citizen, then you are an alien resident. That's where the term comes from. It's not legally derogatory. That is right there. It's either in the Constitution or it's in the code. It's in the language of the law for residents, people that are in this country. Well, if you are an alien resident, then you can either be here legally or you can be here illegally. So to refer to someone as an illegal alien, that is technically, whether you like it or not, whether you can grow up and accept it or not, that is the terminology. If you don't like it, get them to change the law. Get them to change the language in there. Because when somebody says it's an illegal alien, then I know that they're not a citizen and they're here illegally. And, they don't use the term alien. They would usually say visitor. But if somebody refers to someone as an illegal alien and they're being honest, if they're correct, well, that just simply means that they're not a citizen. So they're a resident alien, and they're here illegally. And it tells you their status, like that. So we need to grow up. Words have meanings, and they are important. Now, that said, I think there's a lot more we could do for, immigration and all that. And they had a bus of these illegal aliens that they shipped out of Texas. And there was a 3-year-old kid that died after he got into Illinois. I believe it was in the Chicago area. They got him to the hospital. He died. And I'm sorry. I felt this way for a while. I honestly think, especially now that we know for like a year and a half, 2 years, Garland and Wray, the Attorney General and the FBI Director, were basically blocking credible prosecutors who wanted to investigate Trump for January 6th and the Trump crime associates for January 6th. And they blocked it. Nobody was, and you got they couldn't, they needed time to indict. Look, nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about indictment. These guys just wanted to fucking investigate. It sounds like they went to the FBI and said, yeah, we need a couple agents. We're gonna start to look at this. And they said no. So then they went to the leadership at the DOJ, and they're like, hey, look, FBI's not letting it. I'm guessing, because they did both. I'm assuming they went to the FBI first. And then they went to the GOJ and they're like, hey, we need some FBI agents. And in both cases, they were told no. They were told not to investigate. And now we find out there was like a 14-year veteran prosecutor who was investigating. And it was the same thing that happened to Durham. Durham is a special prosecutor that Trump and Barr foisted on the future when they were, before they were sneaking out the door. They made this guy a fucking special prosecutor to investigate. Oh, God, I think it was the interference by the FBI into the Trump administration or something like that. And it was the exact same thing the exact same thing I'm going to tell you happened to this guy. It's the exact same thing that Durham did, and Durham ignored it. But this guy was investigating, and he was investigating Hunter Biden and all this other stuff. Well, as he was investigating, he couldn't find anything really on Hunter. But over and over again, he was running into criminal evidence against people that were allied with Trump. Things that it sounds like, should have led to an investigation and more than likely an indictment. And he's basically come forward now. It's like, look, some of this started when Bush was still in office, or Trump was still in office, but it continued after Biden and Garland got in there, where he was basically being told by people to knock it off, to quit looking. He went to Jim Jordan, the head of that weaponization committee that was looking into government abuse. And he's like, look, I got evidence of government abuse. He's like, great. What do you got on Hunter? And they go, oh, we couldn't find anything on Hunter, but we got this on this person, this person, this person. And he was basically told by the Republicans, well, if you don't have anything on Hunter, we're really not interested in it. And I am sorry, but it is time for that. That was enough. And the fact that, you had all these criminal referrals against Trump and his cabinet and his family from Republican Senate, Democratic House, his own inspector generals, and Barr covered it up. Barr did. When Garland got in there, even though it was from a previous Congress, there's no reason he couldn't have picked those up and investigated. He didn't. He did nothing with the Mueller investigation. Nothing. That's enough for me to say he should be removed. Then you find out that 2 years went on, and he was blocking anybody in the Republican Party from getting investigated for January 6th, the forged documents, and all the other shit. And these are people that may not be in office right now if he had done his job. And you had Trump's daughter and son-in-law. Between the two of them, I think they made over $640 million grifting while they worked for his White House. And then Kushner got like $2 billion from the Saudis on the way out the door, probably for whatever illegal shit he did for him while he was in there. Because even Chris Christie's saying, well, man, why was he sending Jared Kushner around to deal with all these countries in the Middle East when he had Rex Tillerson and I forget I can't think of the other guy's name as Secretary of State? He goes, these guys are way more qualified. Well, he goes, well, he got like a $2 million gift as he left. Even the Saudis' own financial people were like, man, we shouldn't be giving him this money. He's got no background where he deserves it. And even Chris Christie said, yeah, now we can see why. He must have done some stuff for those people, and they were paying him on the way out the door. But my God, now that this little 3-year-old kid has died, I am sorry. They've been doing this shit for a year or two now. And if they can prosecute those truckers for trying to fucking stop things with their trucks and their traffic jams, they should have been able to arrest these governors for the same shit. Basically sending them to another state. It crosses state lines. That's federal jurisdiction. They should be able to do that for them trying to disrupt another city, another state. And they did nothing. They sat around, thumbs up their fucking ass, did nothing. And I'm sorry, that dead 3-year-old, that's on Ray's hands. That's on Garland's hands. And if Biden does not replace those guys, the next one that dies from that shit, that's on Biden's hands. I'm sorry. I like Biden. I'm probably going to vote for him again. But my God, this is just fucking ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Oh, yeah. Can I get some fries with that raid? But that was just, I'm sorry, you know, I'm gonna stay off of this guy really, and I don't really consider, I consider this criminal. I don't consider it political. But I'll try and stay out because all it's going to do is piss me off, and then I'm going to have a short stream because I'm going to start getting lightheaded faster than usual. Fucking A. Oh, and they are looking into it, and this is the thing that gets me. You had that FBI or you had that UFO whistleblower Grouch. He had his PTSD treatment outed, and the funny thing is when they looked at it, he was treated for that before he was given his security clearance, and I think he's got a valid point that Ross Coulthart, he's a journalist, he basically said, he goes, this has got to be somebody outing him or trying to out him, because he said the initial story they got was that the local sheriff's department considered, you know, through the course of his reporting, he basically said only 2 people had this, other than like the treatment facilities, and that would be like a HIPAA violation if they did it. But the sheriff's department knew about it, and the intelligence people knew about it. And they were originally told by the sheriff's department, yeah, nobody asked us for it, didn't come from us. Well, that left the intelligence community, or a major HIPAA breach by a treatment facility. And so that was what was reported. Well, then it kind of came out. The claim is, and I don't know if they've actually gotten anything from the sheriff's department, but the Intercept, the reporter, the Intercept came and said, oh no, we did a Freedom of Information request. Well, okay, well then you would think the sheriff's department would know about it. And then the other thing that Ross Coulthart said was the laws in that state, or maybe federal laws, I think it's the ones in the state, if it isn't criminal, it sounds like they should not have released his mental health information because there was no crime. And so he goes, by their laws, it shouldn't have been released anyways. And then the other thing is, and it came out, that reporter, he basically said, well, I've never really believed in that UFO stuff. Well, okay, well, you're either a journalist or you're not. You know, you're either a journalist or you're not. And you've got elected officials, you've got people with high security clearances that are all coming forward. They're all coming forward, and they're basically stating this stuff's real. You got the military coming forward going, this stuff's real. And you're a journalist. You're supposed to report the story. You're not supposed to be the story. And you're coming out now and saying, well, I never really believe in this stuff. Well, then you shouldn't be covering it. You know? If you are a plumber and you don't believe in the physics of indoor plumbing, then maybe you shouldn't be working inside houses. You know, if you are a politician and you don't think the federal government can actually do anything, then maybe you shouldn't be in the federal government. You know, it's just that simple. If you don't believe in something, then you shouldn't be working around it, trying to cover it. Um, if you're someone at NASA and you don't believe in the flat Earth, you maybe deserve a raise. I don't know, but if you're a doctor and you don't believe in anti-vaxxing bullshit, you maybe deserve a raise. I don't know, but um, and then the other thing is he leaked out that he had been fired over it and trying to get people to sign up for some kind of newsletter, and then you find out that was all a lie. He just did it to try and get people to sign up to it. He's a prankster. He's a jokester. Well, I'm sorry, I don't think The Intercept is a really credible place. Anyways, they became famous for outing Snowden's attacks. Basically, I considered Snowden a domestic terrorist, attacking us the way he did. If he'd have kept it to what the government was doing to us, I could be a little more sympathetic. But when he was basically outing what our nation was doing to keep us safe overseas, I hope they get him here. I hope they try him, convict him, and I hope he spends the rest of his life in jail. I sincerely do. But they were in bed with Snowden, so they've got some credibility issues. And then you got the guy there. I'm sorry. The fact that they have not fired this guy already tells me that they're not a serious journalism studio that can be trusted. They just can't. Um, but they're talking about this, and apparently there are other whistleblowers that are afraid to come forward because they're afraid they're going to get treated like grouch. And I'm sorry, I don't know what to say, but they really need to get this stuff out from under the military and the intelligence community and the private military industrial complex. And they need to move with all haste. Because I don't know, and this is the thing. I'm not going to say exactly what we're going to find. I don't know. But you take a look at it. Whatever we're going to find, they're covering something up. There is something that they are covering up. We're seeing actions that look like they're criminal actions in furtherance of a cover-up. And regardless of what it is, we need to get to the bottom of whether it's ET, recovered craft, or a disinformation campaign. And that's that. They had a reporter on there. I think it was either on News Nation or The Hill, but they had a reporter on there, and he was on like a week or two ago, and he was basically the guy to ask. He was somebody that knew. Like the stuff they were talking about, and I don't know if it was the military or intelligence or what, but he was the guy that was knowledgeable, and they kept asking him questions. And I'm not kidding you could just see how uncomfortable this guy was. And I wish I knew what his name was because I've never seen him before. But the guy looks so uncomfortable. And he's like, well, look, he goes, I can only speculate about what we know now. And he goes, I would like to know a whole lot more before I wait. He just seemed like, he did not want to go out there and be the spokesperson for fucking ET and then find out it was all a fucking scam later. This guy was just so uncomfortable. And, well, he was back on. And he made the comment that, well, hey, look, one of two things is going to happen. He goes, either this is real. We got like a UFO program and this, that, and the other thing. Or he goes, we got a disinformation campaign. He goes, it's real simple. One of those two things has got to be true because he goes, it really looks like they're covering something up. And he goes, I just don't see how it could be anything else. Because and they've been doing a pretty good job. Like, I don't know about The Hill, but on News Nation, they've done a real good job covering this because, like, Chris Cuomo said, he's like, well, if his medical records showed that he broke his legs or he had one eye had gone blind. You know, he was. I'm spitballing here, but he was basically talking if they showed that he had these injuries and that didn't make him look like a fucking nut job. He goes, I'm not sure we would have heard that. He goes, it just seems kind of funny that all we're hearing about is the stuff that's going to make him look uncredible. And the person on there said, yeah, exactly. You know, exactly. And so but that was what I said. Well, man, he goes, I don't, he's like, he's kind of hinting. He's like, and he didn't look as uncomfortable as the other day, but he still looked kind of, and he's like, look, I don't really know what to say here, but he goes, it really looks like only one of two things is possible. Either there really is an alien UFO program, or there's some kind of a disinformation campaign that's being portrayed on U.S. citizens. And he goes, I'm not a lawyer, but he goes, my understanding is that's illegal. He goes, to actually have a program like that on U.S. citizens, and he goes, I don't know, I can't even tell you what the purpose of it would be, but it's illegal. You can't do it. And he goes, I can only see it as being one of two versions of that. You know, like it's one or the other. And oh, and last night I ended up the new one I watched, like I was starting to get tired, so I turned it off, and I haven't watched The Proof Is Out There yet. But I rewatched that one on Edgar Casey, the Sleeping Prophet. I did a stream on that, and that one was really weird. I'm not gonna deny it. That one was really weird to watch. Because I had heard about that guy before, but they did a real deep dive, and and I don't remember exactly why. I know there was stuff that I was hearing last night that I don't remember from like last week when it was the new episode, and then the one they had last night, they were talking about the Greek gods. Oh my god, I was watching. I think I got like a season and part of a season, or I've got one season. I either got one season left or just a little over a season left. And they started out with a deputy communications director who was uh, God, I can't think of the guy's name. He was originally one of the Brat Pack, and he's playing like a fire captain on. God, I can't think of the guy's name. Uh, I think he's got cancer, but it was I think it was one of those 911 shows, but it's he's a fireman, and he played Sam Seaborn, and I cannot think of his name. I apologize, I just can't think of it right now. And he was originally supposed to be, my understanding, he was supposed to be the star of the show, and the guy who played the president, uh, Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen, and Emilio Esta's dad, he was just supposed to be a bit part. He was just supposed to be on there occasionally. And he stole the show. His character was so powerful that they ended up giving him like an expanded role for it. And and that and like so after the contract ran out, they weren't, because they were paying the other guy top dollar because he was supposed to be the star of the show, and he became like a minor supporting character. And so what happened was when his contract ran out, they weren't going to pay him enough to stick around, and I don't know that I blame him. I really don't. And so they wrote him out of the show. They had a character called Will Bailey was running a campaign for a guy in California who died. He died like a week or so before the election. California law did not allow them to replace him. So it was either run the campaign and win it, or by default give it to his opponent. So he ran like one, and I honestly don't know, because I know in some cases like that, but it all depends on the state. In some cases like that, they would allow the widow to serve, but what he did is he ran like a really good campaign, got the guy elected. Well, then they had to have a special election with new candidates, and well, then what happened was he got Sam Seaborn to run on the ticket, and that took him out of the White House. Well, then what they did is they hired him to do Sam's job, be a speechwriter, be the deputy communications director. Well, then what happened was uh, the vice president had a sex scandal. So he had to resign from being vice president because he was cheating on his wife. And, well, then right after that, the president's daughter got kidnapped, and he didn't think he could do the job and make the decisions when his daughter's life was on the line. And his wife was going to, they were like, oh, ma'am, you can't do that. And she's, no, I need to speak. And so the president had to get out of the way. Well, the vice president was gone. They couldn't just turn it over to Hoynes. And so what they did was they gave it over to John Goodman's character, who was the Speaker of the House. And when it was all said and done, and John Goodman played a good and honorable, he was Republican, but he played like an old school Republican, somebody that was honorable and decent. Well, the new Speaker, not so much. And when it came time to nominate a new vice president, he kind of let him know. He goes, look, you're either going to give me a vice president that me personally, am okay with, or I'm just going to hold up and not nominate your person. So they basically, he gave him a list. He goes, you pick anybody, and they were all fucking shitty people. All fucking shitty people. And that was the deal. You either give me somebody that, would not be a challenge if they ran as president against our guy, or we just won't nominate your guy. Well, because the president had vice MS, and it was pretty clear. It was like the modern day Republican Party. Sorkinson, the guy who produced the show and wrote it, he knew this was coming, because he looked at the modern day Republican Party before it ever happened. Before Mitch McConnell gets in and goes, oh, our number one priority is to make sure this black president doesn't get a second term. Oh my God, we got a year to go and you want to nominate a Supreme Court judge? Not on my watch. We'll just wait and see what happens after the election. And if it's a Republican, well, we'll get it. We'll get to steal a seat. And then another one, died like a couple weeks before the election. Oh my God, we can get somebody in. We couldn't get somebody in there for a year when it was the other party, but now that it's my party, we can get somebody approved in 2 weeks. Not a problem. Hold my beer, and he noticed the shitty Republican Party coming, and that's the way this guy was. He just wasn't going to let them nominate anybody worth a shit. So they nominated. They named him Big. His nickname was Bingo Bob, and that's the guy they accepted, and they ran him as vice president. Well, Bill Bailey, when Bingo Bob got in there, he he wanted Bailey to be his chief of staff. And the White House said, yeah, fair enough. He can have him. We're not going to argue this. And so Bingo Bob got Bailey. And Bailey, where we're at now, has been working his ass off to get this guy elected. And he can't understand why there's people in the White House like Toby Ziegler and some of the other one, the communication and others, are not really behind him. And I never got it. I figured he knew the guy was a fucking shithead, and he didn't. And the chief of staff had a fucking heart attack or something, and he was basically, he got replaced. Well, he was coming back helping out like on a part-time basis with certain things. And he finally asked him. He said, "Look, I've been trying to figure it out." He goes, "I've been working to get this guy elected for 3 months." And he goes, "I have been trying to figure it out." And the former chief of staff goes, "Figure what out?" He goes, "Well," he goes, "he doesn't have the multifaceted mind that the president does. He's kind of a single-minded person. He can deal with a few small things at a time, but he can't juggle like 80 things in his mind like the premier chess master Bartlett could." And he goes, "I've been trying to figure out what you guys saw in him." And he goes, "I don't understand." He goes, "Well, you guys named him to be the vice president." He goes, "You had a president with health issues. You had MS. Could have literally went at any time. And you guys named him." And he goes, "I have been struggling to try and figure out what you guys saw in him, and I can't figure it out." And he goes, "Can you give me any idea?" And the chief of staff said, "I tell you what, why don't you tell me when you've got an idea what you think it is? We'll compare notes." And he goes, "Yeah, okay, that's what I kind of figured. That ain't the way it works where you tell me." He goes, I got to figure it out on my own." Well, what he doesn't know is he doesn't know that they were basically being blackmailed and held hostage by the Republican speaker. It was either take that guy or not have any. And then he would just sit out and hope the president had a health problem. And he was the speaker. He would be the one to go in there now. So that was, there's like little things like that I knew before, but it was watching the show again. It's like, yeah, these little things you kind of forgot. I don't even know what time it is. I'm gonna try and make it at least an hour. I'm getting lightheaded, so I shouldn't have been talking about the political bullshit. That just fucking stirred me up. I'm sorry that all the other shit was bad enough, and then when I found out that they screwed around until a 3-year-old got killed, and I don't care if he's here legally or here illegally. He's a kid. I'm sorry. He's a fucking kid. Um, it's just wrong. That just kind of pissed me off today. Oh. Yeah, I'll try and stick it out for at least an hour or so, getting stuff done. Then I'm gonna probably take a break from this, clean the litter box, and I had to do that the last couple days. Just go lay down in the afternoon. Yesterday, I don't think I fell asleep. I just sort of vegged out a little bit. Um, I think I can put the trees in. I'll have to knock down. I don't like planting the oak trees while there's still leaves in the air. And I don't know if I really want them to fix it because they're a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you get a fair amount of wood out of them. But if you like if I plant a tree here and it hits these, then you'll get like a mountain tree. It seems like. Hey, wish me luck. I went to go get donuts so I'd have shit for breakfast, and then and I got some water softener salt. Uh, and, oh shit. I'm gonna wait, 'cause I could put my weight on one foot, get it into the cart, and then I think I sat down in the back of the car to get it into the back of the car, so I didn't have to lift with my bad foot. And I might go down the stairs on my butt and come up them that way too. But I might just lean against the one wall in the handhold and just don't put any weight on my bad foot and move it slowly down the stairs that way, and then I can sort of drag it along the floor until I get it to the water softener tank and go ahead and put that in. Um, I really don't, and I'm being honest, I don't know if he's exaggerating or not, but my brother, he's been getting real lightheaded, and again, this is the thing. I think he might be just playing for it. A lot of this stuff he does it to play for attention, and I literally do not have the time or the energy to fucking deal with it. But it might be real. I don't know. God forbid. I gotta, because he's my understanding, and I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I know he lies about shit, exaggerates it. He plays for the attention. Um, he's not eating the way he's supposed to. Like when he got home, he did not have any carbonated sodas. He was drinking like water and juice. And he's back to drinking a shitload of pop. He was on a restricted diet. Like I know over there they fucked up and brought him pasta the one time. And the way I look at it, he can eat what he wants. It's but he keeps doing this like, "Oh, I'm going to go outside and if I have problems." And I'm like, "Dude, I still got a broken foot." I go, "If you fall," I told him, I go, "If you fall," I go, "unless you call an ambulance," I go, "you're going to be sitting there until you can get your ass back up off the ground." I go, and I told him, I go, "even if I didn't have a broken foot," I go, "I can't pick you up." I go, you eat so much. You fucking weigh too much. If you fall down, you're gonna be there until you can get the fuck off the ground, or you call an ambulance to come pick you up and take you to a facility. It's just the way it is. I go, I can't help you. I told him that because I think he's got it in this pipe dream that, like when he gets real sick, he can stay here and do hospice like mom. And I already told him, I go, even if I could, I go, I did hospice for mom. I go, I'm not wiping your ass. I go, it ain't gonna happen. I go, but I go, even if I wanted to, I go, mom weighed like 145 pounds or less. I go, she started losing weight when she wasn't eating. And I told him, I go, you're like fucking 300 pounds. I go, there's no fucking way. I go, there's no way any normal person can do that for you. I go, you're not going to be able to hospice here. I go, if you're going to hospice here, I go, you're going to basically die real quick. And I go, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I go, you don't need to do it in front of me. But I go, my God, because I go, if you fall down and you're expecting me to fucking miracle your ass back up, I can't fucking lift the fucking pyramid stones either, You fucking fall on the ground, you're going to be sitting there until either somebody comes and gets you or you recover enough to get up off the ground yourself. It's just it's just the way it is. But he was doing that. Oh, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do that. And he just keep an eye out. And I go, whatever happens, I go, you're gonna be sitting there until somebody else comes and helps you out. I go, I can't physically do it. Well, I just might need direction. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is where I'm starting to think, yeah, this is just a fucking act. He's trying to get the attention. And I got my own fucking shit to deal with. I don't have, I got real problems of my own. I don't have time for your fucking imaginary bullshit. But the thing is, he should be the one taking this downstairs because he's far better off than I am in this case. But he's fucking playing it up like nothing else. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll wait until I'm having like today I'm lightheaded. I'll wait for a fairly clear day where I don't have anything else I have to do. And then I'll try to get it down there. I'll put it in, and then I'll see if it's still down there. I don't know if she actually sold it or not, but if the dehumidifier's in the basement, I'll get that turned back on until summer's over. But yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but these people in Congress, and I know they've got other important stuff to do. But whatever's going on with these whistleblowers for the UFO stuff, I really think they need to just take it away, like they did with the rape cases. They need to take it away from the military, and it's kind of like that judge the other day where she basically told Trump's lawyers, "Hey, look, if your client wants to keep doing this stuff." That's going to make me want to move up the trial. That's going to make me want to advance the trial to prevent him from tampering with the jury. We'll get the jury seated. We'll sequester them. That's what she was hinting at. Because he doesn't want to have an early trial. He would like to stretch it out until after the next election. So if he can get in there, he can have the FBI just squash it. But she basically said, she goes, if he wants to keep doing this, one of the things I may have to do is move up the trial and have it earlier. She kind of threw that out there. Well, it's the same thing here. The longer they let this shit linger with the military and the intelligence community and the military industrial complex, the longer they have to fuck with people. So I really hope they get a move on this. I really do. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I got to go to the bathroom anyways, and then I'm going to clean the litter boxes. If I feel better, maybe I'll get back on later today, or I'll try and get on tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see everybody Monday if I can. Peace out, and I hope everybody has a good day.